This is
Put the camera on.
this one. So first of all, we're going to finish up Tafkuf Ches. We're going to be mamshach a little bit next week, maybe a day or two in or three, and beyond that we're going to start Chazar. Chazar includes, hopefully we'll be masking as we can in Chol HaMoed. Day of the Chazara from, I guess, Sunday till the end of the Zman. So everyone's mechuyev to write a Chabura, say 2 type pages, typewritten, handwritten, whatever. Speak to Benish about that, he's not here. 2 typed pages, the length of 2 typed pages. A Chabura. It's better if it doesn't overlap too much. Maybe everyone should just consult with everyone else which Sugi is writing about. We'll see about if it's Kadesh Yasus, then maybe we'll also make rotations again. Everyone will say over the Chaburas, we'll split up into 2-3 groups. But for now, we're going to do that, and then at some point, hopefully, we'll have Chazara questions. We'll have some kind of a test to facilitate the Chazara, and that will take us to the end of Zman, and that's that. Okay. In terms of next line, it looks like we're going to learn Hilchos Challah. It's not 100% set in stone yet, but that's what it looks like. Okay. Just for one time. Don't make you nervous. Okay. Does what? No, it doesn't share me, but it shares you. Okay. So I'm going to try to just say over a little bit the column of Avelos B'Moed. And Behechrich, since we're talking about Avelos B'Moed, we'll speak a little bit, mamish generally, Kolei Hilchos Avelos, and the cover of Chodesh Adar will have a little bit what's neged to Avelos B'Purim and Anis B'Purim. We're betzim there is some very big tzarachiyim Gabe Dinei Purim and Avelos B'Purim and Avelos B'Chag in general. So the Gemara tells us in that Dal of the days, when it comes on Avol Eino Noiheg Avelusei B'Regel. A person's an avil, and the Gemara is before in the Hemshich that it's if he's already was an avil, the Paga Boy Haregel, or Hakover Meisei Beregel. That's the first half of Simon Tavkuf Memches, is someone who's one of his Zayin Krovim dies on the regel, and he buries his Korov on the regel. That should be Mechayiv in Avelos, or someone who was already in Avelos before Yontif. Both of these cases, that's the first half of Tavkuf Memches, is what happens if he's Kover Mesa Biragel. The second half of Tavkuf Memches is what happens if he was already in Avelos. And in both cases, the Gemara is Mavur, that on Yontif the Avelos doesn't get started, and before Avelos it knocks off, and before the regel knocks off the Avelos. That's the whole Hemshech of a few Mishnais in the third parak, and this is Tavkuf Memches. So why not? So the Gemara Dafidal tells us, of course there's a din Simcha B'Moed of a Samach B'Chagecha, so that's doiche the mitzvah chiyuv inyan of Avelos. How does that work? So the Lashon of the Gemara is Osi Esei de Rabin, which is referring to Samach B'Chagecha, which is mitzvah Esei for Kol Chal Yisrael. So it's a mitzvah Esei that has a special chaymer. It's a mitzvah de Rabin, and it's Dachi Esei de Yachid, and it's doiche this person's personal Avelos, which is his own eigene mitzvah that no one else is involved in except for him and his mishpach. And the Gemara is mavur that's vain if the Avelos was before the regel or on the regel itself. So, not sure what it is. So Taisus is mavur before and after. Now, this is Siman Tavkuf Memchet in Shulchan Aruch by Or Chaim, and this Siman is basically repeated once again in Yardeh Shin Tzadik Tes and Siman Tov, the dinim of Avelos B'Chol Regel. Fine. So, what exactly is the dichui of Simchas HaRegel and Avelos? How is Simchas HaRegel doich Avelos? He already picks up on the Lashon. But the Gemara was looking for an eitzah. How is it doich? So the Gemara says, Regel is much more chashiv, it's mitzvah the Rabbim. Avelos is much more shvach, it's only mitzvah the Yochid. So Rabbim is doich Yochid. That's the only klal the Gemara can find. So Taisus is medayik. I understand some Taisus. You could have said much more pashut azach. Osi mitzvah deraisa of Simchas HaRegel. V'doich Avelos midrabanan. Avelos is only takana derabanan. The Rambam says in the beginning of Hilchos Eivel, Moshe Rabbeinu tiknu zayin mei Mishnah zayin mei Avelos takana derabanan. So what's the big deal? So as Tosfos Lacharitz we do it from here. Mashma Avelos ika esei daraisa. Yes, this Gemara is mashma that the Gemara is really stuck because we have a daraisa of regel and a daraisa of Avelos. So now we're stuck. So we have to come up with a new formulation, which would be Rabbi and Yochid. Says Tosfos that could be doiche. Maybe la'olam Avelos is the Rabbanan. So imkain, what's the whole shtel? Says Tosfos because bizman hazeh could be simchas haregel going the Rabbanan. Because maybe the samach b'chagecha like before b'gemar b'chagigo b'kam komis the ikar mitzvah simchas haregel is shalmei chagigo shalmei simcha to be makar b'karban and to partake of it on yontif, and that's the simcha. So imkain that we don't have. Tosfos says imkain we don't have simchas. It could be since we don't have shalmei chagigo shalmei simcha, we don't have a mitzvah simchas b'chagecha. So then fakir it's the Rabbanan leumas the Rabbanan. That seems to be the pashut of Tosfos. Maybe we'll have some time. We'll get back to a different shot of Tosfos, which I spoke at once when we were learning about the Seder. But the point is, Tosfos Chayr is saying like this: either we have a daraisa being doicha daraisa, simchas haregel being doicha avelos daraisa, and then we nischadish over here that avelos is daraisa, maridik, or it's bizman hazeh simchas haregel derabanan being doicha avelos, which sounds like is alabol derabanan. Be'oifen dinim. So the Tosfos Chayr being mistapik. There are two things about the gather simchas haregel bizman hazeh, whether or not without shalom chikish on simcha we have a kiyum with daraisa. Some Rishonim seem to clearly say that there's no kiyum. Shagasari is very stark. We do. The Rambam is the first we do, and that seems to be what we pass in Talkuf Chavtes Chavtes that Bisman hazeh there is a kiyum of Samach Begech B'Shar Mini Simchas. We call me the Samchi Yayin Begadim Tzivonim from Nashim Egoizim Klavis V'Chulei. And Tosfos leaves open the question of Avelos over here. He seems to be mistapik. So Be'emes, this is a very big machlokes Rishonim. Makam Karim Tzachas the Iker in the Sugya in Yisubis on Daf Dalet, where the Gemara there is discussing the question of a chassid who, just before his chassid, or his meisal of Gemara's maskanes, has to be of shal chassid, even shal kala, and it's a chashash is going to be a big hefsed of the suda. They're not going to know is going to be able to be doig for the chassid and kala. So in some way, shape, or form, we're doig of the avelos by being meichal and being maschal the shibsimi mishnah, and that's doig of the avelos. So here's one place where it's discussed, and of course in the third paragraph of my Katan, that's where we find the different shittas in the Rishonim. And in Shulchan Aruch, it's in Yoreh Deis in Shin Tzadik Ches, right before the dinim of Avelos B'Chag HaMoed, is the din of Vir the Mechaber brings the Etzem Halacha. I'm going to have Yoreh Deis in front of you, but Shin Tzadik Ches, it's one sif. The Mechaber there brings first Bestam, the shita that Avelos is daraisa. There is Avelos daraisa. You have a Maibar Musgar, we'll get back to it. Even if the shita that's daraisa, it's only the first day. And now it's only the first day. There's machlokes in the Rishonim. It seems la halacha the Mechaber only quotes the shita that the first day of Avelos is daraisa only when what? The Misa and the Kvura happen on the same day. If the Misa and the Kvura are set up, then it will only be derabanan. So it's two Hagbalas in Avelos daraisa. According to the shitas that Avelos daraisa, the way the Mechaber quotes it, has to be Misa v'Kvura b'yom echad, and then it's still then only the first day. So that's the first sheet that the Mechaber brings. And then the Mechaber brings the Yeshayimrim. And then no Kol and Yoni Avelos only the Rabbanim. And the Mechaber, so B'derech Klal, what's the Klal? Inside the Ches is Stam B'yesh. Stam B'yesh sounds like the Mechaber is being noted at least. That La Halacha, or Choshish, which is Shita Rambam, so it makes sense, as we'll see. That that the first Shita, the Ikar Shita sounds like the Mechaber, is that yes, Avelos Yermishan with Misu Kura B'yachad will be Mechal Adin Avelos Derais. And the Yeshayimrim is that. Now the Ramah there doesn't say anything. In two places the Ramah says something. That's in the Hemshech over there. It's in Shins like Tesef Yud Gimel. The Ramah there says the minig is to be noihig only Avelos Derabanan. That we assume it's always Derabanan Chol Oifen, and there's no Deraisas. Kenan minig Pashit ve'in Lashanos. That's in Shin Tzadik Tesef Yud Gimel. And then again by us in Tav Kuf Mem Chesef Gimel, there the Ramah says the same thing. That's Lagabi the Halacha of Yom Tov Sheva. We'll see. It says the minig is ve'in Lashanos that we treat in any shayla that's going to be an afkamina ladina of the Reis Derabanan. We treat all Avelos, even Misa v'Kura v'Yom Echad v'Yom Rishon. It's all only Midarabanan. Okay, so that's the shita, the two basic shitas, and that's the Achra of the and Mechaber. Again, also in Tav Kuf Mem seems to be noted that it's the Reis and the Ramah in both places is Machri. It's all in Derabanan. Yeah. So who holds what? So Be'ikr, if you want the Ma'arukim, it's Shin Sadeches, that's the noise of the Mechaber and Shin Sadeches, Yerideh, is the question of whether Avelos Yerisha is Reis Derabanan. Here in the Beis Yosef, he brings quotes all the different sheets in the Rishon. So the first shita, that the Beis Yosef seems to be Machriya like Kedark B'Kodesh, the Shitas HaRambam. And Shitas HaRambam, who is the most clear that Avelos Yerisha is Min HaTorah. Is there some mishpatim? Rambam says that there's Gans Befurish, and the Ramban is also Befurish. First of all, the Rambam in the Minyan HaMitzvahs, before he starts Hilchos Eivel, when he lists the list of mitzvahs, L'sabel al hakroivim, that's mitzvah ach, that's the first mitzvah he quotes, and then the first mitzvahs, Essay L'sabel al hakroivim, Shnemar, V'chal Tichat Hashem, Hida B'nei Hashem, he quotes a very interesting pasuk, which is a pasuk from Aninus of Aaron Kohen, Ve'ein avelis min atari el b'yom rishon b'vad, shehu yom ha-mitzvah v'yom ha-kvura, the Rambam is also mefurish this tonight, that it's only yom rishon, and it's only mitzvah kvura, al shar ha-shiva, al shar ha-shiva yomim, einu din Torah, af b'yishon ha-Torah, then he quotes what's really the drush of the Yerushalmi, which was the chayr bothering the Rambam, so the Yerushalmi has a lashon paktiyoser like that goes like this: Avelos min haTorah minayin, and quotes the pasuk in Chumash, Vayasal Aviv Evel Shavas Yomim. So Zak the Rambam, no, the chayr pshat Yerushalmi, or he's pasking neg Yerushalmi. Alpha Bishon Emer Torah Vayasal Aviv Evel Shavas Yomim. Nitna Torah V'Schad Shalacha. That was all kodim at Torah, but after Nitna Torah V'Schad Shalacha, it was Nischadish the din that the only Avelos is Yom Rishon with Misa Kura, and Talacha. Moshe Rabbeinu Tikul Yisrael Shivas Me'avelos Shivas Me'mishnah. The Shivas. So where do 7 days of Avelos come from? Same place Shivas Me'mishnah comes from. It's Takanas Moshe Rabbeinu.
When we say Avelos, is there right? We're saying the whole idea. We're saying the Surim involved.
Right. So the Rambam very good. So not everything about Avelos is deraisa. Much like the Isra Malacha. The Rambam gives a list in Perek Hey, Malacha Aleph, and Ayin Sham. Elu Dvarim Shavel Aser Behem B'Yom Rishon Min HaTorah. V'Shar Yom Midavreim. The Rambam does quote Malacha. Kitzur brings a whole list of basically all the different Dini Avelos that are quoted in the beginning of the third parak in Moed Katan. So Rambam gives a list, and it's coming to Lafuki something. That's parak Hey of Hilchos Eivel of the Rambam.
The first day?
Yeah, that's the first day. In the Rambam, like in Moshe Tishrayim, it's on the first day. The emphasis is that Yerushalmi, there's a tzad in Yerushalmi that says Eivel Shivas Yomim. That's a makar in the Torah for Shivas Me'avelos. In the end of Misha in the second paragraph of Brachos, so the Rif and the Rosh both bring a Yeshayimrim, I'm not sure who it is, they bring a Yeshayimrim that Shivas Yamim is the Reisa. You don't pass it like that. Only tzad that's brought the halacha is the tzad of Avelos Yom Rishon with Miso Kura for that matter. Fine. So Maisa the Rambam is it's a big Tzarachian. I look in the Frankel and have all kinds of Marim Koimis. The Rambam quotes in the actual halachas, when he says mitzvah esei l'sabel, he says shenemar ve'echal tichat t'sayim v'yita b'nei Hashem. It's talking about the aninus of Aaron Kohen. And l'chara, that's a very interesting makar. It's talking about aninus, not avelos l'chal. And l'maisa, the Rambam himself is very clear in Sefer Mitzvahs, Mitzvah Lamed Zayin, and also in the Hakdama here, when he writes the mitzvah l'sabel, he puts it together with the mitzvah of lo yatama, that a kohen should be metame for krevim b'shas for the kvura. So he puts it together a little bit over here in Hilchos Eivel. He puts Tumas Kohanim, that a kohen is mitzvah to be metame for Zayin krevim. He puts that together with the Chiyav Avelos. And I don't read the whole lashon here. I don't even have the lashon here. But Maisa, the Rambam is ganz mefurish in Sefer Mitzvahs, Mitzvah Lamed Zayin. That is the mitzvah of Tumas Kohen. That a kohen has a Chiyav of lo yatame. That even Baal Karchay, he has to be metame for krevim for tzorchei kfura k'pshuta. And the Rambam says that the Rambam in that Toichdei that mitzvah says lahedya that is makar for mitzvah savelos. The Rambam has very stark lashon zehu gufa mitzvah eivel. That and the Rambam learns that basically when we see the Torah as being mezares, even a kohen to be metam himself to take care of the kvura and the yonei hameis, that's just a vice how stark the chiyuv of avelos in general is. Now, kol shekain, a regular person has to be metam, and kol shekain, a regular person has to take care of the kvura. And Zok the Rambam, that's the makar for mitzvah avelos, and that's the din of Yom Rishon. Now, even that is a little bit of tzarachian. The chiyuv of a kohen to take care of his krevim is before avelos and by aninus, and yet avelos is only chal achar Akiva. But afal pikein, that's a shtickle needed in the poskim. But afal pikein, that is shitz Rambam that we learn from the din of metama, that a kohen has to be metame to be metapel l'kavod hameis. That's also makar that at least on the first day there's a chiyuv avelos.
It's only to be
what?
Only to be basic.
It's a chiyuv to be Isaac, but no, even if you're not being Isaac. It's not a din. L'maisel, if you're around, there's two dinim. There's still aninus and avelos. Aninus is at some tipol with me. But this is just the makar. It's okay.
I'll come from mean like.
Gemara says a Maisa that Yosef Kohen didn't want to be metame, and Chachamim ran after him and metame Baal Karchay should make them also.
Would that imply that you should even like go through expense to try to be the top of the base? Maybe it's not the other side of the country. You should if there's a chance he'll be there for the Kfura, you should.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
mitzvah, kfur b'chol ofen, but that's a good question. The gedarim of lo yetam, right? Right, I'm not sure. Okay. So that's Shita the Rambam. Again, the Yerushalmi's mashma could be even Shivas Daraisa, and that the Rif brings such Shita and Brachas, and we're deich that Shita. Now the Ramban in Teres Adam has a huge arichos about the Shita of various different Go'inim, and he says al derech the Rambam the Shita Go'inim. Also, the Ramban's Shita is Avelos in Rishon is Daraisa, only in Rishon. There is a big machlokes between the Rambam and the Ramban. That's the Chor Tali and the Makar where Avelos comes from, and the Geder Advarim, and that is what is the din before Aninus. Because again, the Makaros that we have in a Torah don't say anything about Shas before Kura, after Kura. So the Ramban Be'emes learns that the Chiyav Avelos starts miyad with the Misa. And really what we know as an Einin, as we know it, an Einin has many things that are not Chayiv in Medina Avelos. So the Ramban learns that no, really the Avelos Min HaTorah starts right away after the Misa. Narvas, until the Kura, Chazal gave various kulas, and the Torah gave various kulas to allow him to be metapel the base. And Avos not allowed Yotzim Pesach Beisai. He does not allowed to wear shoes. Obviously, an Einin could do these things because he needs to go out of his house and go take care of the Kura. But the Ramban learns that Be'emes Medina the Avelos is Chal, as opposed to the Rambam who holds there's no Chalos Avelos after the Kura. It's a big nafkamina. It's a big nafkamina that's brought in Shin Amalv as Dini Yaninus. Shin Amalv Sif Dal or Hey. There's Machlokes Mechaber Amod. The Mechaber brings Shitas Rambam that an Einin is Be'emes Mutter. B'chol Dvarim that in Avel is Asrin and Einin is Mutter. And that's the Shita of the Rambam Mechaber. That's the next din of the Rambam. The Rambam says, he brings a right from David Amalf that an Einin can take a shower. Give you Roichetz, Rechitza, Kibos, whatever. Tash Shemita, it's a Shaila, Pashtas, Fidaram, even Fidaram, Tash Shemita is also in Kamak Malach was it, and the Ramah over there in Shem Amalf said, Dalar Hey brings the Shita of the Bali Taisus that no, and the Ramban that the MS that there's we paskin that an Einin has din avelos. He's also besimcha and he's also bekibos rechitza t'speiros v'kule, because the chalois avelos min haTorah is really miyad. And that's a side question between the Rambam and the Ramban, exactly where the avelos deraisa is chal and what happens in the tkufa of aninus. Is aninus really a downgraded avelos like the Ramban, or lefi the Rambam there's no shaychus, there's nothing to do with avelos bechal, there's no avelos yet till after. So Ein Sham we're certainly machmer for the Ramban that an Einin again, in terms of what? In terms of Aninus, we're certainly machmer that an Einin has din avelos. In terms of the Reis Darabban? In terms of what? The Reis Darabban?
Avelos miyad versus...
Is an Einin allowed to take a haircut, take a shower? All the dinim of avelos does he have? So the Rambam says it's mutter, and the Ramban is chayil.
We don't hold like the Ramban.
What?
We don't hold like
So what are
the
the
Ramban
clues?
because...
We hold like the Ramban, yes.
Because the Shulchan
So
Aruch
what are
says
the
you need
clues?
both of them together in order for it to start a new...
No, I'm not saying the Reis Darabban. Maybe the Rabbanan.
Oh.
The emphasis of the Ramban, the emphasis
Are you saying the whole thing with the Muhammad? There was only...
yeah, maybe the Rabbanan. Maybe the Rabbanan. In terms of the Prati Dinim, okay, that's the whole nice in Shin Mem Aleph Siftan.
Were you saying that in the Ramban there were
The Ramban holds that the emes it's chal right away all of it. So then how can he wear shoes?
Oh, so
No one's allowed to wear shoes. That's the whole Yisod of the Ramban. The Yisod of Aninus is that we water down the Avelos a little bit. Even though the Avelos started, we water it down a little bit so they can take care of his mace.
So the guy be what?
That he and whatever he needs for the mace, to wear shoes and to go outside. But Chitza Sicha, Tash Pshamita, all that. Okay. So this is the Machlokes Rambam Ramban, but Be'idach Chisa, this bets in the sheet of the Rambam and the Ramban that Avelos and Rishon is Deraisa with again with Miso Krura B'yam. The sheet of the Bali Taisus in a few places in Moed Katan, the Rosh brings it, and that's the Achra, the Rosh also, and that's what the Ramah is being Machriya like the Rosh and the Bali Taisus, that all Mipaskin, all Avelos is only Midrabanan, Bein Yom Rishon, Bein the other Yamim, Bein B'yom Misikura, Bein not Yom Misikura, everything's only Midrabanan. So where does the Chapa Nafkamina? So there's a lot of sugyas where it Chap's a very big Nafkamina. Uberoisham, that's the big Machlok Sushenim, is in Daftal and Ksubis. Because the Gemara there says that we have a problem. The Chassan is ready, Yein and Mozul, Tifchei Tevuach, and then the Avu Shal Chassan, Ima Shal dies. So what's going to happen? They're going to have an Avelos now, they're going to lose the Suda, and since the Chassan's father, the Kala's mother, so Zel knows who's going to die for them to have a Chassan. Chazal said a special after. Put the mace into a side room, because in Tolba Kvura, there's no Chalois Avelos. So put the mace into a side room, let them go be Nichnas L'Chopah, be boiled with the Bilas Mitzvah. So once they're boiled with the Mitzvah, it's Chal, the Regel, the Yontif the Yachir of Shivas Yimei Mishta. And once Shivas Yimei Mishta, so then what's going to happen? Then they're going to go and bury the mace. So what's going to happen? Chalois Avelos? No, too late. The Shivas Yimei Mishta is Doiche the Shivas Yimei Avelos. So if Shivas Me'avelos is only Midrabanan. Hakol Nicha, because Shivas Me'Mishta is the Rabbanan, and the Rabbanan is Deicha the Rabbanan. So as long as it was Chal, the Yontif of the Shivas Me'Mishta, that can be Deicha the Avelos B'Shal Maisel. In fact, all the Rishonim, but according to the Rambam, according to the Ramban, according to the Go'inim, that hold that the Avelos Me'Mishta is the Raisa. So very nice, you started some kind of the Rabbanan invention of Shivas Me'Mishta. What does it help? The regular that he goes, B'Yom HaMisa, and he's covered the mace, done. Avelos Min HaTeiris is Chal. So how is the Shivas Me'Mishta with the Rabbanan being Deicha? So this is one place where the Rishonim are marach about these nafkaminas that are Rabbanan. So what do you do with the shita, which seems to be the Iker shita of the Mechaber, that is deraisa? So there's two things that's
According to the Rabbanan, it's much worse. Even if you'll say that for some reason the Rabbanan should be done with the deraisa, but it started already the Shas the Misa, right? It's not even a patent. But
right, I think there are two dargers of the Rabban also in terms of the Shlav, but yeah, in a Chanavi, it's more sure. So Azoi. So some Rishonim say, in a Chanavi, but Shivas Me'Mishta is also the deraisa. Meaning what? Just like Yom Rishon of Avelos is the Raisa, Yom Rishon of Shivas Me'Mishta is the Raisa, and the Rishonim quote Yom Chasinasa, Yom Simchas Liboy, that's Pasuk in Shir Hashim, I don't know how it's the Raisa, but the Rishonim say that Yom Rishon of Shivas Me'Mishta is the Raisa, and that's what's Leichus, that's a Chiddushot.
that won't help the Ramban also.
Unless, again, if they're both the Raisa, then maybe the Shivas Me'Mishta should be Doichet the Avelos even though it started, just like we see by Regal. I mean, you have to know. Okay, and the other teretz is that the other teretz the Rishonim say is that that's good for the kunst. The way the Rashba learns Gemara, it's true. Rashba has a very big chiddush. It's part of the Chidushim and Ksubas also. Zok the Rashba and Ksubas Tatal. So Zok there. You know what the kunst of Bimachnas LeCheder was? That the Misa happens. They put the mace in the cheder. They're boiled this mitzvah. They wait till tomorrow, and then they're covering the next day. So we split up the Misa and the Kvur. So since the Misa and the Kvur are on the same day, it's only the Rabbanan. So then the Rabbanan, then the Shivas Me'Mishta can be Deich. That's the Rashba. I'm not familiar with the minhag of what happens when the Aviv of the Chassan dies before the Chol.
Why is that good of the Chassan?
Because the Gemara says if he has a father, I'll take care of him.
I know sometimes you do the Sabbath connection.
What?
The night after the Chol. That night, the night of the Chassan.
Yeah. What are you saying? That
2 hours after the Chol.
Not the Chol. Yeah, that right. That happens. Right. Depends how many chayvus the Aviv of the Chassan. No, okay. Right, so then it's much better. Then you don't need eitzes, then it's already chal, the Yeshivas Me'Mishta. Narvas, the question is...
Is this a chiyuv to do it, or can she, if she wants, if the kala wants to?
There's a big need about that, right? You know, the Shach says that this whole halacha doesn't apply. In his time, anyway. Moshe has a true he says it doesn't apply in our times, because the whole kunz is that no one's going to get this guy married off, because his father's gone, or his mother's gone. So the Shach says, today there's a Kemilas Chasadim, whatever, there's a Gemach, there's Tzedakah, there's a Kehila. The Kehila takes care of the Yisayim. So if the whole din is out. So Moshe says, it's back. That's right. Okay. Shouldn't be again.
Because there's no...
Because to them, it's no one who's paying $40,000 for this Chasan, to have a... Okay. So that's one place where it's Legea we find. Another very interesting thing in the Achronim is the P'tur and the Isser Bemes for an Aval Yom Rishon. The din is that's Gemara also beginning of the Tefillah Mekadam, and the Aval Yom Rishon doesn't wear tefillin, and that's Halacha B'Ron Shulchan Aruch Shem Peches Yodeh. So that's all. It just says Yom Rishon. There's the details aren't really given over there. So the Dagam Ravava brings from Mari Tatz, who says you want a pater from tefillin mitzvah deraisa. That's only what it means. Yom Rishon is din. Says Maritatz, it's only for the Yom Rishon of Miso Kura that it's Chal Avelos L'Raisa. So if it's Yom Miso Kura, it's Chal Avelos L'Raisa, then you can knock off the tefillin. But if it's not Miso Kura together, so then how could you say not to wear mitzvah tefillin? And the Dagam Ravava is mechiach from a few different dinim. Ein Sham, that's very pashut that that's not the din, and that Avada B'chol Oifin there's a P'tur from tefillin, even the Miso Kura not together. But that's also not a potential nafkamina. Meaning, obviously, even according to the Shita that all Avelos is derabanan, somehow it's doichet tefillin. How do you not wear tefillin if Avelos is derabanan? How is it doichet tefillin? So as we'll see. Is many oifan in the Chazal where we do the vrayim to negative mitzvah deraisa. But befrat, it's a very geschmack. What we already spoke once here, the Brisker of Smart, that there's no chiyuv every day, but etzem every day to wear tefillin. You're not really being mevatel mitzvahs essay machmas deveils. Just right now you're not wearing tefillin. You wear tefillin later, tomorrow, the next day. It's totally if there's a mitzvah every day. Okay. So this is two examples of many other examples where the place can handle this question of halacha, whether or not we're choishish that veils and mishnahs deraisa derban. Now, what's the Iker Nafkamin? The Iker Nafkamin is Unzer Sugya. That's Tach B'Chon Chefs, Sif Gimel, And that's also the halacha in Shin Tzadik Tes Yud Gimel, and that is the question of Yom Tov Sheni. That the halacha is, like we saw from the Gemara, that's from Pasuk Shulchan Aruch, that as long as the Avelos, if the Avelos, whether the Avelos started before Yom Tov, or whether the Avelos should have come on Yom Tov is doicha all Avelos. Said Mechaber Paskins, but not Yom Tov Sheni. They'll say it's not Yom Tov Sheni Achar, meaning when it's not HaMoed, it's the last day when it's just Din Derabanan. So then the Mechaber says, so then about an oval Yom Rishon with Kura Misa has to be Noig Avelos. Taf Kuf Yom Chesed Gimel. Akerbes Meis Yom Tov Sheni Shal Galiyos Shu Yom Tov Achar of Yom Tov Sheni Shal Atzeres Noig by Avelos. Im Haya Oisaya and Yom Misu Kvura. As long as Misu Kvura, the Mechaber doesn't hold that. That we're Chayshish that's Din Deraisa, so that's doicha Yom Tov Sheni Shal Galiyos mid Avrein. Avelos Yom Rishon Shal Torah. Yitcha Asay Shal Devrein Bnei Asay Shal Torah. And the Ramal Shitasoi is Chaylik, the Yeshchalchim, the Shil of the Ein Noyeg Avelos B'Shum Yom Tov Sheni, because again, if you hold this Derabanan, so then the Derabanan of the Derabanan, the Rabbim of Yom Tov Sheni will be Doichel, the Derabanan of Avelos, even Yom Rishon, and the Ramal says V'chem Enek Pashup Ein the Shanos, and that is the Achra of the Ramal. That's like Ikanaf Kimin of Yom Tov Sheni. There's a Machlokes Rishonim in the Shita that Yom Tov, that Avelos is the Reisa. And it's Doicha Yom Tov Sheni. What about Yom Tov Sheni of Rosh Hashanah? So Mechaber Beves Paskins that even though it's the Raisa and it's Doicha Yom Tov Sheni, not Yom Tov Sheni of Rosh Hashanah. Which is a Pella, because Yom Tov Sheni of Rosh Hashanah is also the Rabbanan. And that's why the Ramban is Chaylik on the Ramban. And the Ramban says that what do I care if it's Yom Tov Yom Arichta? It's all the Rabbanan, it's the Takana the Rabbanan. So the Avelis Yom Rishon should be Doicha Yom Tov Sheni of Rosh Hashanah. So that's a Tzarachim in the Ramban. Kama Mahalchim never was there. Fine. So that's the basic shitas in terms of Avelos Deraisa with the Rabbanan, and what's the Geya to Hilchus Avelos Beregel is the question of Yom Tov Sheni when you have Din Rabbanan, is it Doich, is it not?
Is it Kasha that Shana is Rabbanan second day? Or because it's Shem Yom Rechta?
Yeah, but it's Manin, it's
not short for the day.
Bekim Bekviyat Yarcha, how could it be Deraisa? Torah only says Yom Zikar, one day, you can't have
That's what I'm saying, so maybe he's just talking about the fact that it's Yom Rechta, that's all he says, he doesn't say because it's the Reisa, so it's because it's Yom Rechta. So because it's Yom Rechta, maybe
it's clearly, right, no,
so
I wasn't accusing the Rambam saying it's Deraisa, the Rambam knows it's the Rabbanan, not for Pikin.
Right, because that's Shem Yom Rechta.
I know, but we have a problem. How's a Doicha Mitzvah Deraisa? How's a Doicha Mitzvah Deraisa of Avelos? The Teretz says in Chanami that Himidu Devreihem, when they, we'll see, it's going to get to Avelos B'Korim, we'll get back to Avelos B'Korim, but in Chanami, I'm just saying what it's advising is that there could be a rabbinically instituted Yom Tiv, and Afal Pikin, Himidu Devreihem, that you can't be Noig Avelos. Meaning, you're just like sometimes we say in Avel can't put on tefillin, and in Einin, Himidu Devreihem can't daven, and can't say Kriyishma, it's Mevatel Mitzvah says Semen HaTorah. Sometimes it goes the other way, says the Rambam. And when they said that there's an Isser Evil, because today is a Yom Tov Vaday with the Rabbanan, as opposed to Stam Sveika, the Yom of Yom Tov Sheni, but it's a Vaday Yom Arichta, and it's a Takana. That Takana is yes, to be Mevatel Mitzvah Evil. So in Chanami, he's going to go be Koiver Mesa, and we're going to be Mevatel Mitzvah Evil, and the Ramban is Takachoylik, and that's Shem.
We don't wear tefillin on Yom Tov.
What?
We also don't wear tefillin on Yom Tov Sheni.
So it would be the same pleasure. If there's a chiv, everybody should tell. Okay. Fine. So now let's go back. So places. So what's the makar for this whole day? So bring us a little bit to Purim. So Tosfos said that the way this whole thing works, this whole sugya, is because we have an essay, the Rabbin, which we're saying sometimes it's Derabanan Lumas Deraisa Lumas Derabanan, or Deraisa Deraisa. But the Maisa is that there's a mitzvah of Gemara is Mufurish, it's a mitzvah V'samach B'chagecha. Mitzvah V'samach B'chagecha is what is Doiche Avelos. So, if L'mashal L'fi the Mechaber, so L'fi the Mechaber sounds like we're Choshish, that Avelos Yom Rishon is Deraisa. So we very much need V'samach B'chagecha Deraisa to be a mitzvah derabim to knock off the mitzvah's essay of Eival Yom Rishon deraisa the Yachid. Right, that would be the cheshbon halacha of the Mechaber. So we discussed this amal by when we learned Tavkuf Chavtes Simchas Yom Tov, and that is the question of Vishagas Aryeh in Siman Samchei. And the Emek Bracha brings this question from Reb Chaim. That Reb Chaim also was handling Vishagas Aryeh's question. Emek Bracha in Chos Yom Tov, and that is that V'samach B'chagecha is a mitzvah's essay derabim, which is Doicha Avelos D'Yachid. So then you really need the V'samach B'chagecha. Frek the Shagas Aryeh, the Gemara in Pesachim Ein Alf has a drasha that Lel Yom Tov Rishon is smite from Simcha. So there's no chiv simcha min ha-Torah at least, maybe it's a chiv darabanan. But if there's no simcha min ha-Torah, no yom tov rishon, so there's no simcha sachag. So there's no samach legecha. So then someone who's in a matzah where he's an avelos daraisa, oh, bisa kuru b'yem echad. So then by night you should be knowing avelos. You have to be mevatel as avelos daraisa. That's strike. What? Yeah, listen, whenever you get to a matzah where there's a mitzvah simcha, the mitzvah simcha will be doiche. I don't think there's any hutra. So, sorry, as it reaches about that, and then Baruch brings that Reb Chaim Tainad machmas this question that when there's a miyat for Lal Yot Rishon for simcha, it doesn't mean it's nismait from the mitzvah simcha b'chol loifin. It means that there's no mitzvah. It's nismait from mitzvahs basar shlamim shabbat chagig shabbat simcha. There's no chiyuv zvicha since you can't do zvicha b'shas simcha. So there's no chiyuv. The miyat is to say that there's no chiyuv shecht karbanos before yontif to have it ready to have shabbat chagig shabbat simcha. What's up to Chaim and Avada? There's still a kiyum and a mitzvah b'smach mechigecha lo yom tov, and that mitzvah deoraisa of simcha, even though it's not basar shlamim, just like bismanenu we're doich avelos, we don't have basar shlamim. We have other simchas deoraisa, and that simcha deoraisa is doich the avelos. That's what Reb Chaim said. So that answers the miyat of lo yom tov. The question that I saw some svarim still ask is that there's another problem. And that is, there's a big machlokes regarding noshim in mitzvahs v'samachta. Our noshim chuyavos mitzvahs v'samachta v'chagecha, Jewish v'kiveger, Tzimon Aleph. Meistens it's shayad megamar in Rosh Hashanah Daf Hey, whether or not it's a chiv on her to be misamech, just like every other man has to be misamech himself, or no, isha b'ayla misamcha. So meistens seems to be in the beginning of Parakam Chagiga in the Rambam. So it sounds like it's machlokes Rambam Ravid. The Ravid there clearly paskins, and isha does not have any chiv to be misamech. So what is a chiv? By the masamcha. So if he's there, the Ravid there paskins like it's machlokes by row. So the Ravid paskins isha by the masamcha. If isha by the masamcha, so she has no mitzvah samachta. The whole yontif she has no mitzvah samachta. So if she has no mitzvah samachta chagecha, so then an isha who is chal in her avelos should sit shiva on yontif. Because again, the Gemara says you need samachta chagecha, and especially what's it? Avelos Diyam Rishon. So Gabi the Shar Yomim, so we could say maybe she has some kind of Chiyuv Derabanan. Chabi the Derabanan, we have an Eitzah. Gabi the Din Deraisa, L'chol should have to sit Shiva at least that first day. So even if we'll answer Lel Yontif like Reb Chaim's tiny, there is a Chiyuv Simcha. Shabbos Yismachos, L'chol doesn't help for Isha.
There's all Shaila based on the Chaber. There's no passing.
I think you could ask the question of either. Well, also I'm saying once everything's Derabanan, so it could be it's easier to Imam could be doicher. And anyway, the stomach is like a Shagasari says that even if there's no Chiv Simcha at night, L'mashal, even if there's no Chiv Simcha, there is a Chiv Simcha Derabanan. The Shagasari says, I don't know about an Isha. Let's say you pass an Isha by L'samcha. Does she have a Chiv Derabanan to Misamech herself? I don't know. Still not.
That's the Chiv Deraisa to be Misamech, right?
Chiv
Deraisa to be Misamech. So that is connected. The Avelos is going to.
Okay, so let's see. So Chara what's Mavur and Muchach from this question is that even without Reb Chaim's teretz that Lal Yom Tov Rishon you can be Mesamech with other smachos. So Memela, well, Lal Yom Tov Rishon you can't have basar shlamim, but you have stam basar chulin, or you have a milkshake, you have ice cream. Mesamech with that peula of simcha of the samachta, that's what it's doing. None of us. The mashmalos is samachta b'chagecha. What? No, I'm saying by night. Clarify the question by night. So I'm saying because of the question by Isha, what you have to say sai by night and sai by Isha is that it's not the pe'ulos of simcha. So this is like the next shtickle on Emek Brach over there that he brings from Chaim that mitzvah smach l'gecha, it's doing like that. Not first in the Rambam. It's not to do certain pe'ulos, and those pe'ulos are the etzim kiyum of the mitzvah. None of us. You're mechuyev to do pe'ulos that are hechikimsa to bring a person to what the Rambam says. Chayiv adam b'yois beregel sameach v'toiv leiv hu v'ishtav v'neveisoy. And then ketzad misamchon. How do you get to the matziv of sameach v'toiv leiv that chayiv b'yois adam hu v'ishtav v'chulei? So to get to that matziv, you have to do certain pe'ulos. So that's the nidan. Do you have to do those pu'ulas at night? Do you have to do those pu'ulas by day? Does an isha have to do those pu'ulas, or does the husband have to provide? Does the husband have to do the pu'ulah to be sameach leisha? That's all the question. Klapi, who has to do the pu'ulas to bring to the matzav sameach v'toiv? But when the Rambam says the chayiv adam yos sameach v'toiv hu ishla b'nei beisai, so any gadol b'Yisrael, whether you're a zachar or a keva or b'nei beisai, so even if it's mutal on the balabayis to do the pu'ulas to provide the simcha, but in a chanami the etzem mahus and the etzem simcha to be b'simcha b'toiv is a chiyuv on kol echad ve'echad. So this gets a little questionable. So what happens if Isha Baal is not Masamcha, so she has no chiyuv to do any Pula Simcha, but she does have a chiyuv to make herself happy, Stam to be happy? So that's what it sounds like. Yeah, I guess it's not so sure, it's a little bit of a funny idea. Isha Ayin was that. But Lamaisa, that's L'chayr, and L'chayr, that's the Dichlei. What's Doicha Avelis? Avelis is a matziv to be in Avelis the whole 7 days, 24 hours a day. So why would eating of Kazai's basar be Doicha the whole 7 days? Kazai's basar nor basar, it's the Pa'ul that brings to some Simcha V'toiv Leik. So very nice, and Isha doesn't have to be Samech herself by themselves. Everyone has to be in that matzav of Simcha V'toiv Leik, and everyone has to see to it in that matzav of Simcha V'toiv Leik. Certain people are not Chiv to Pulas, and Isha is not beyond to go provide for herself. So she doesn't do those Pulas. But the nice to be in the matzav, and the matzav is L'chayr Tzdoicha. And so L'chayr there's a raya from Purim. That's Chab in Marvin, yes.
No, but some Sachag has to be smart.
Yeah, okay. So I have a bigger raya, it's Purim. There's Machlokes Rishon, L'gabi Purim, if there's Avelos, so we pass and there's no Avelos for Purim. When is there no Avelos for Purim? So you would think, so Ben Krach, and V'chulei. No, you may wish to the Simcha, Fida Rishon, there's no Avelos for Purim, there's no Avelos for both days, even the day that's not your day, and also by night, when there's no Chiv Simcha, there's no Sudas Purim at night, so you may wish to the Simcha, there's no Chiv Suda or Simcha or Mishnah by night, and Afal Pika, and you may wish for Simcha, and the very Chiddush is even the day it's not your day. For Ben Krach and Ben Ir, it's Doicha. So what's Doicha Avelos? What's Simcha? He has no Chiv. On Purim, you wish to Simcha, you have to manage Basar Yayin, we'll see. But Lamaisa, what about the day it's not your day? Then, if you're from Chutz Yerushalayim, you're just in bed that whole day, trying to recover. So where's the Simcha? So the Teretz is that it's Yemei Mish to the Simcha is the Etzem Simcha of these 2 days. And since they were Nikva to be Yemei Mish to the Simcha, even without any special Pa'ulas, there's different dinim for each person. Ben Ir, Hin, Ben Krach, thing, by night, by day is different dinim. But the Etzem Yemei Mish to the Simcha you see is Derech Lavela. So L'chayr Huadin Huatam.
What's that Simcha?
What is that Simcha? That's what I'm saying. That's a Simcha Mahuti, that it's Nikva to be days of joy. And that the joy of those days, that everyone is involved in at all times, even if it's not your day of permanent, even if it's not the day, is enough to be Derech Lavela. And L'chayr, this is a raya. There's Chakiras in Svarim, in Vasher, in Minchas HaMoed, there's a big arichos about whether there's Simcha on Chiv Simcha on Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. It's right as the Kan L'kan. But L'chayr, that's in fact, like it's before we talked from the Gemara, that Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are Derech Lavela. Yeah, if an oval comes Shivasime Avelos into Yom Kippur, what's Doicha? You have one Gemara in Shas, it says Samach B'chagecha. Now there's no Samach B'chagecha per se on Rosh Hashanah Kippur, because it's not a Chag, right? It's no Shamei Chagiga, Shamei Simcha. But whatever, so the Achrim have different Hekeshim, how we learn this Din Simcha. L'chayra, it's Mavur that there is some kind of Din Simcha, because whatever the Simcha is, and Vaiter it's a Rayel, that it's the Mahus of the Simcha, it's the Etzem Simcha B'toiv Lev. Now, do you have to be? Is it the same Simcha B'toiv Lev from Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur as Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres? Probably not. But L'maisa, there's some kind of Simcha in the Mahus Hayoim. That's Doich Havelos. That's why we put him both days and night. Who Hadin Yom Kippur Purim and Who Hadin L'chayr. That is what's being Doicha. So Memela, there's no kasha from the night of Yom Tif. It's the Smayit. There's no kasha from Noshim that they don't have a chiyuv. Everyone has a chiyuv to be Simcha B'toiv Lev. Now, Mikufya, Taisus is L'chayr. Sounds not like that, because Tosfos on this.
Saying Nichlal every Yom Tov is also the Din Simcha.
Of
just
Simcha
like
B'toiv
Rosh
Lev.
Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Right, so Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur also have some kind of diagram there, right? It might be a different diagram, it's enough to be Doich Havelos. Right, so that's exactly. Meaning an Isha on Sukkot is Lagara from an Ish on Yom Kippur, who has some kind of Simcha, which is Doich Havelos, right? Now, Tosfos sounds a little bit not like that. Tosfos, because again, Tosfos is bothered. Gemara says, "Say the Rabbim is Doicha, say the Yachid." Tosfos says, "Well, so is Avelos deraisa?" Says Tosfos, "No, maybe Avelos is derabanan, but maybe also Simchas Haregel is derabanan, because nearly this is Tosfos Dechiyah. The Simchas Haregel Rami derabanan. Samach lahani b'shamay Simcha kedeisu b'chagiga." So we kufya kipshuta. It sounds like this. That's how Shaykh Sari learned that Tosfos' shita is that the only Simcha minat Torah is eating basar shlamim and Shaykh Sari goes a big arichos to be chayil on Tosfos. He learns what Tosfos is, and Tosfos is coming to say that word. V'salach lebechagecha shamei chagiga, but nothing else, not like the Rambam, and the Shaykh Sari is mechiv like the Rambam. And in Cain it would sound like not like we're saying that it's Tali and Pu'ulas, and then we'd stuck with these questions of the night and of Noshim. So I don't want to be marich.
Is the Shaykh Sari saying Taka B'zman is that Avelos is not Doicha, Yom Tov is not Doicha Avelos?
there's a big arichas. The chiluk that I saw today, at least, Shai says he's mechich that there is a mitzvah simcha b'zman hazeh, and that's what's the chavelos even without basar shalom, not like Tosfos. Maybe you're talking about.
But Tosfos himself.
In the Tosfos, right, exactly. So that's how he's learning. See, and that's me. So b'shaita, you said this. I looked back today. It's not pashut, but I think the pshat in this Tosfos is not necessarily. It's not what Tosfos is saying. It's not the noisy of Tosfos here. This is not the noisy. This Tosfos, the Shai turned into the noisy of Tavkuf Chavtes of the Rambam. Is it just basar shlamim, or is it also b'shar midi b'samchi? Is it yayin basar b'zman hazeh? You turn Tosfos into that. That's not the noisy of Tosfos b'chal. Tosfos has a problem about he has a diak in this Gemara. It sounds like you have a deraisa being doiche deraisa. That's very funny to Tosfos because that's the emes shittas Tosfos that we pass in. Avelos is derabanan. So Tosfos is doiche that no. Maybe says Tosfos, Avelos is derabanan, like Tosfos Beres holds, and Simchas HaChag is also derabanan. Meaning what? Says Tosfos. What does it mean Simchas HaChag? V'samachta hainu b'shalmi simcha k'gisa b'chagiga. Maybe what Tosfos is saying is like this, very simple. The Torah has a very specific chiyuv a person needs on Yom Tov, to take a piece of basar and eat it. Tosfos doesn't mean la'fuke and milkshake also. But Tosfos says, when the Torah is mechayiv simcha on Yom Tov, it's mechayiv pu'ulas. But pu'ulas are not doich havelos. What's doich havelos? The etzem mahus of simcha, the simcha v'toiv leiv. Says Tosfos, that's not a chiyuv. There's no chiyuv deraisa. Maybe it's a mitzvah derabanan to be in such a state of joy. There's no mitzvah deraisa to feel joy. I mean, that's what we're saying. What's doich havelos? It's the simcha v'toiv leiv, and everything else is heichet timtzah. So maybe that's exactly what Tosfos is saying. Tosfos is just saying, what's my problem? Why do I need Yachid Rabim, Harei Avelos Derabanan? Says Tosfos, because what's Doicha the Avelos Derabanan? Not the pu'ula of eating a piece of basar. The Simcha B'Toiv Leiv. Zog Tosfos, that there's no makar in the Torah for. There's no mitzvah deraisa to have a feeling of Simcha B'Toiv Leiv. The mitzvah deraisa is like it says in the Gemara, on Chagig Dafches, Lechol Basar Shlamim, B'Shalmi Simcha, is the pu'ula. So maybe all Tosfos is saying is that the pu'ula is what's deraisa, not the Simcha B'Toiv Leiv. And Mela, to be Doicha Avelos, that's all. Then there are abundance. You have to show me why this should be doich that. Here it says you need to come out to Rabbi and Yochid. That's
both availus and just
yeah, maybe so eat your basar shlamim. That's not doich avelos. I mean, for that 1 minute you won't be enough. So that 1 minute will cancel this. Then the rest of the day can be enough. So what's really doich? Like we're proving from Yom Kippur, like we're proving Rosh Hashanah, like we're proving from Yimei HaPurim. What's doich is the etzem ahus of simcha, is the Yimei simcha, is the simcha v'toiv leiv. Says Tosfos, that's not the reisa.
Even Bisman Mikdash is not.
That was never the race, exactly. The Torah is mitzav on pu'ulas, not on Hargashas. That sounds like they're saying. Because that's what I'm saying. That's the vart that we're saying. It's an interesting vart. I don't know what to say. Well, the Maisa, that's why is there no avelos on the second day of Purim when it's not your Purim? You may wish to be nikva to be in a matzav of simcha. And that simcha is
the chirosh and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is also min simcha. That's their abundant. It's not clear.
What?
Just this derabbanan.
Lefi the tzad that avelos is doicha Purim. So, what about it is doicha? So I'm just pointing out the Pashut Pshat is the etzem mahus of the simcha, not the shas suda, not the shas megillah if that's a special simcha, but rather the etzem.
The other thing about mitzvahs chavilas that you should be panui. That's a din derabanan. That in Ma'arvin.
Chavilas is sure derabanan. In Ma'arvin, Tosfos seems to learn as deraisa.
So that in Ma'arvin is mechayiv that you're. Why is there a steer between getting married and eating getting married?
Getting married on Yom Tov, let's say.
Yeah, getting.
Okay. Because both require a leiv panui.
The whole day.
I mean, meaning there's a chiyuv derabanan to be a panui in simcha.
Meaning you're saying Lefi the tzad that I'm saying that the etzem mahus.
Or it could be that
mentioned in the day.
Or it could be that din derabanan turns into a deraisa. Meaning the mitzvah derabanan, even if ein Ma'arvin is a deraisa.
Maybe it's even any simcha, right? Which is mashma, right?
Derabanan,
which is right, like Sudas Pidyon Haben. Sudas Pidyon Haben is not a mitzvah deraisa, right? Okay. So now let's just be beside with one of the biggest kashas I saw in this whole sugya, and that is the din of aninus and avelos b'pur. So again, klape yontif deraisa, regel Chol HaMoed yontif. So there is no avelos. Avelos is nitche, sai coming in a novel, sai he's kover mesoi. It's doich. But the Rosh says, based on Yerushalmi, aninus is yes chal. Sai and Chol HaMoed of emes even on yontif. how could it be Chal on Yontif? There's no Aninus because no one's burying their dead. It's a big shaila what the Shurish of the Akiva Aninus is. We're not going to get that now. But the point is that Shulchan Aruch says is that Lamaisa the Gemara says that on Yontif Sheni a person could be Kaiver Mesa even on the Day Yisrael, and even on Yontif Rishon the Gemara based on Nafaf says Misaskabay Amin do a Mirlakum to bury a mace. So in the Mela there is Aninus. So that means that a person who on Yontif morning, on Sukkot morning, gets up to go be Kaiver Mesa because it's Yontif Sheni Al Yidei Atzmai or Yontif Rishon Al Yidei Amin, he's an Einin. What does it mean he's an Einin? It means in Yontif morning he wakes up, he doesn't go to the Sukkah, he doesn't eat, he doesn't take Dalim Minim, and he doesn't say Halal, he doesn't daven, and just like by Chol, he doesn't say Kriya Shema, Tefillah, or anything else for that matter. He has a din Einin. Then after the Kvura, when it should be Chal Avelos is not Chal, because there's no Avelos to Yontif. Aninus, yes, Avelos, no. How could Chazal make an Aninus? It's a Pashas in the Rabbanan. How could Chazal provide you for all kinds of mitzvahs? Have you do the just like you don't take a shofar on Shabbos. So Chazal said when a person in the Matzah Aninus needs to make Kavan Ames, they're provide for all your mitzvahs. And that's Chal Anyan. Comes Purim, which is Kafei Tzadi Vav, we have a big tzarech in Vav. Like we mentioned, Purim is a lesser darga of Simcha. Kamuvan, it's a lesser darga of Simcha Yontif. It's only Midivri Kabbalah. So there's a shaila. Is there Avelos on Purim? As we spoke about last week by Sugi Ben Marna. So the answer is Machlokes Mechaber Ramah. The Mechaber Paskins, yes, there's Avelos on Purim. It means not just B'tziner. Regular Avelos, a person who has Shiva on Purim, sits Shiva. That is in Tafresh Tzadik Vav, Sivdal, Kol Divri Avelos, Noegim Mechanical Purim. Ramah's Chaylik, say it. So that means that the Mechaber, we spoke about Richos last week, Darkei Moshe over here, what exactly the Yisod is, that it's not a steer of the Simcha Purim. If there is Simcha Purim, the Simcha Purim to the Avelos, to Avelos. Fine. So meaning, Le'uma said on Yontif, there's no Avelos, Purim Shvach. Purim has Avelos. And then, 2 halachas later, 3 halachas later, the Mechaber quotes a Pella from the Orchos Chaim. Yesh Mishayim She'oinin Mutter B'Basar V'Yayin. The Loi Asi Esei D'Yachid D'Avelos, we're not talking about Avelos, we're talking about Aninus. Loi Asi Esei D'Yachid D'Avelos, V'Dochi Esei D'Rabim D'Oraisa. Which D'Oraisa, the L'Smayach B'Purim Divrei Kabbalah, and Enu She'im Kid Divrei Torah. The Chomer being Misameach on Purim is so Chomer that it's even Doich Aninus. So L'Chayra, what we have here, and this Stam is a big problem in this halacha with the Ramah, that there's a big mevuch in the Paiskim. But L'Maisa, L'Chayra, everything is soiser, all the column that we know about from Avelos Berenga. On Yontif, there is Aninus. On Yontif, there is no Afabigim, there's Aninus, but there's no Avelos. Comes Purim, with the Psak and Mechaber, there's yes Avelos, but no Aninus. And even that which there's no Aninus is really a Stira Mini Obey, because the Ramah is bothered exactly Pshat and Tzarech time, and the Ramah says it's only by night. I'm sorry. The Ramah says like this: if you're eating basar v'yayin, kol shkein you're chayiv mikra megillah tefillah kriya shema. Once you're eating basar v'yayin, so then there's no aninus. It sounds like he's saying there's no aninus, but then the Ramah goes on back there and says, but only by night, because by night a person's not burying his mace. So by night we're doich aninus, but not by day. But the place can point out that the basar v'yayin can't be by night. So what? Dafka by night you can eat basar v'yayin. For the poskim, by night there's no reason b'chlal to eat basar v'yayin and lel purim. There's no mitzvah simcha suda on purim by night. It's imay mishtav simcha. It's only by day that there's all the mitzvahs sayayim are only by day, not by night. So what comes out in Shom B'Magin Avram, what comes out in this halacha is kipshuta. The halacha that comes out is that by day, when it's imay mishtav simcha, and a person is going to be kover mesai, there is yes aninus. So meaning he wakes up in the morning, he's going to go be kover mesai, no Megillah, no shalach manas, no mitzvah sayim. Pshuta. The Aruch HaShulchan has a different mahalach that it's talking about someone who's b'chal not planning to bury on Purim b'chal, is waiting till the next day. I'm talking about the pashto that comes out Magen Avraham Primigon, and that is that a person has aninus. So he goes and he's not making brachas, not saying Shema, not giving shalach manas, not hearing Megillah. But basar v'yayin, that he has. That is mechuyev or mutter. It's dafka the basar v'yayin because that's the etzem din simcha and the l'smayach purim divrei kabbalah. Obviously it's tzarech and gadol. And Omer Darsheni, that my high, that all of a sudden, first of all, that Purim, which is more kal gabe avelos, gets more chamer gabe aninus, echad, and beis mineu bei. If you learn this mahalach, Chor the Pashas comes out Magen Avraham, is that a person not going to Megillah, but he's eating basar v'yayin. Akadekach, the Chacham Sadim, which I'm about to quote, has a clear that kipshuta, what should come out is this person should be eating his basar v'yayin without a bracha, because he's a noiner. So the Chacham Sadim says no. Since he tiru basar v'yayin, sipsei, he can make a bracha. It's like a chiddush. Like if you're not masking that chiddush, so it comes out, he wakes up in the morning, nothing, just basar v'yayin. Even b'shas aninus. And then after he's kover mesa, it's avelos, and then it's v'al the chal avelos, and that's like everything else.
Pull an onion.
Not after the kura. Saying, yeah, before the kura. So the Chacham Sadar in the end of Avelos has a kuntrus matzeres much different shubas about Avelos, and right there at the beginning, Beis Gimel says the following chiddush to answer this hell. So first of all, he points out very amazing things. Magad Rum is a skasha, there's a chi of basar for an einin. On Yontif, an einin doesn't eat basar. If on Yontif he doesn't eat basar, on Purim he can eat basar. So the Chacham Sadar says, yeah, maybe the chi of basar on Purim is more chamer than Yontif, because in Yontif the ikar chi of basar is basar shlomim. So once that's out, what's left is have a milkshake, have cheesecake on Shula, it's the same thing as basar. Because there's no takana derabbanan to have basar chulin. There's a mitzvah says in Torah. Once that's gone, so then mechol midim misamche. Mashe'en kein there's a chiyuv and a takana of simcha vein simcha lebasar. So zok to magen ram. So what were they attacking exactly? What's simcha? So we know the ikar simcha is basar. There was no basar shlomim, so there was no base of ikar. So elamai was basar chulin. So the takana was basar chulin. So maybe there's a chiyuv basar mamish. The chacham is mefabel with the sad. It's a base inside. Eli disagrees with me. I never heard of such a thing. Akiva to have basar beheim on Purim. If you have chicken, it's not seder. If someone's makbar and such a thing. So Eli says yes. Chayes maybe saying yes. I think a person's allowed to have challah. If you sue the fish, fish on mazel, you're not allowed to have fish, and you have to have basar. Never heard of such a thing. But emes, even on Yontif, there's no such thing, and that's what we're saying. Even on Yontif, person that's smelling. That's what we spoke about. Richos and Shavuos. You want to be machmer? Say that. Besides basar. But no chiyuv on Purim is a bigger chiyuv. But the emes is that seems to be what's going on over here. So that has to be understood. Maybe we'll try to understand that in 1 minute. But the point is, so let's just get the Chacham technical pshat. Chacham says like this, very simple. The Gemara in Megillah has a drasha. He made mishta v'simcha, like we spoke last week. The Dr. Rosh quotes it. Mishta she'aser b'tainus, simcha she'aser b'hesped. So the Chacham like this. He's the third time in the Gemara. Simcha she'aser b'hesped. Who's being maspid? Who needs to be a maspid exactly? So someone who's going to be maspid, he's the one we're talking to. So who's that? That's how Chazal understood. That's at least how the Tzarchas time understood. Hesped is l'chayr navelos, not aninus, tzarchiyah. But Al Kabbalah is like, who's coming to make a hesped in oinin? Val zen nemar simcha v'loy hesped, simcha v'afuke hesped, simcha she'asr hesped. Meaning, Dr. Chacham, he's like moister shlik on the Russia. That the makam to be maspid be misameach, which means that there's a lahedic Joshua that you have to that you have to be misameach in the makam hesped. When there should be a hesped in anidas, there's a hakpada, a takana, kach tiknu that you have to be b'simcha. Mashenkin on yontif is machlechagecha. So you have to be happy the whole day. So what's going to happen if an oinen doesn't eat basar yayim? He doesn't have that specific simcha. So Zok there, say there. So we'll be mevatel v'samachta klape the onion. There was no special takana that this overrides. Meaning he's learning that this drasha is a gilu from Chazal that they want dafka to override the iser aninas. Fine. That's how he's masper. So that's the Chacham. So I saw I was looking around different. There's a lot written about this. This is very very shver halach and Shulchan Aruch. So again, he's just saying that the way he's learning a drush, he found he has a connection. And that when it says simcha lafuke hesped, it means that this was Chazal's gila. That we always have this cheshbon. Which wins? Does aninos be the avelos? Does aninos be the regular avelos? Aninos. Here, this is a special gila. That b'shas hesped, b'shas aninos, we should be mevat lalai desember, and a person should take care of be misamech. Fine. So I saw to have a sesber. That's a little bit al derech, like we were saying last week, the different gedarim of simcha that you have by Purim, the umas, other yom tov. And that is that by Yom Tov, by Yom Tov it says in the Rama that chayv adam liyos samech b'tov lehu v'ishtoi vadim bebeser. That's then every person has to do different pu'ulas, like the Emel Bracha brings, whatever. That a person has to do different pu'ulas to bring him to a matziv of samech b'tov lehu. So Chazal were kaveya that like this, that a person who's ba'avelos, he's b'tzar yogan v'anocha, and that matziv, that's a steer to samech b'tov lehu. Maybe we have a fight. Avelus gets knocked off by a Seder Rabbi. Fine. Mashenken Aninos, let's assume, doesn't have Koldini Avelus at least. So Aninos, let's say the Isser Basar Yai. So Chazal are saying, again, it could be Aninos does have the same shter, and they just himidu devreim because of Kavanah Meis. But you could hear that, let's say at least Lafishit Sanam, that it's only Isser Basar Yai. So maybe then, if it's only Isser Basar Yai, it's not a steer to Simcha Sachar. So you're not going to have Basar Yai, so you have cheesecake on Shavuos instead of Basar Yai. So you'll have your Simcha Sachar. So the Mela, that is the Pesher Hadavar. That's possibly the Pesher Hadavar that Chazal said. Avelos is a steer to Yom Tov, and Aninos is there is potentially it's not a steer. There's a tzad that is a steer, not for PK, cover the mace. But let's say it's not a steer, because Aninus is a different thing. It's just the Isser Basar B'Yayin. Mashiach Purim, where there's no din of Chayv Adam Yosemecha Toiv Leiv. Rather, like Lashon Chazal, like Lashon Rambam, it's the Shtal Vek Yemei Mishtav Simcha. It's like we were talking last week. That is there a Chiv Simcha B'Chal Purim? Is there no? Even if you assume this is a Chiv Simcha, certainly the point of this word is that the tzura is different, and the tzura is the Shtal Vek Yemei Mishtav Simcha. And maybe it's Adarabah because there's no Kedushas Hayonim and there's no Isser Malacha. So Chazal's Hakpada was to make a tzura of Yemei Mishtav Simcha. How do you make a tzura of Yemei Mishtav Simcha? By making Mishtav Simcha. Basar B'Yayin, Mishtav Simcha. So meaning like this on Purim, a person wants to sit on the floor and mamish be crying ba'avelus, Zocht Mechaber is not a problem. He's not Sameach Toiv Leiv. There's no mitzvah. That's not the inyan of it. That's not the tzura of the Simcha on Purim. That's not the ikr tzura at least. Obviously, I think the kavanah of the person should be happy, but it's not the ikr tzura. It's not a steer to the mahus of the Simcha on Purim. So a person can be ba'avelus, and it's not a steer as long as he has mishtav Simcha, which means what? He has basar and yayin on the table, and he's telling Gavek a mishtav and Simcha. He's making a ma'isa of mishtav Simcha. Mashiach came Aninus to be mavatal basar yayin. Even though Avelos will allow, but Aninus, meaning we have to come into every house in Purim and see a Mishta B'Simcha. This has to be a young Mishta. We look, it's not a din in the mensch. So we don't care about him. Again, Klape the Ikr Chiv. So we may love Avelos will allow. Mashenkin Aninus, to not have Basar V'Yayin is a steer to the Mahus of the day. That's exactly where Chazal were talking. You may be Simcha. And again, I don't think it's a steer to Chachas. Maybe this is just all Pirush B'Divrei Chachas. That Simcha la'afuke hesped, meaning b'makom the hesped, b'makom that there should be, when you come into a place and there's a hesped over there, so you see everyone's crying, everyone's saying, so up there, no. Even b'makom that it should be a hesped, even b'makom there should be a sad matzav in the house, that has to be nefach, l'sasar v'simcha. That has to be nefach to Yemei Mishtav Simcha. How? Basar V'Yayin. Basar V'Yayin is just the bitui of making this a matzav and a place and a day of Mishtav Simcha. B'chiyai gavno. And so Mela on Purim that you need to be the tzura of the simchas b'chiyai gavna. So then on Purim, then even though we're mevatel everything else, and even Aninus kiptachais, at least according to the Pashup Shah, even Aninus there is. So he's not going to Megillah, and he might not even be making a bracha on this basar v'yayin. But the ma'aser is mitzvah session in a Torah. It's derek halakha Torah. It has to be misameach with basar v'yayin.